Welcome back to Bust Picks episode 7. I'm your host, Theo Reynoso. Your other host is right here.
How we doing, Don Behan?
Guys, we did it. We finally cracked the code. We're the best gamblers on the planet right now.
We're hot. We were doing well. Well, you were more hot. I'm lukewarm.
Right now.
I'm lukewarm.
You're warm. We're heating up.
There we go. Yeah,
heating up mid-season, getting to the end or middle of the NFL season. This is where we want to be. We want to be hot right now. And we're going to keep rolling through November. We're going to pretend like October didn't even exist because bad units in October.
Ooh,
we're here.
Rough one.
We closed the month good. We're here. Thank you guys for listening to another episode right now. Don, you got a fact for me?
Yes, I do. We have a fact of the day today. The fact of the day is Wilt Chamberlain, with NBA season kicking off a little bit more.
Got some of the best facts.
He does. He's a crazy man.
Let me hear one.
In his 14-year career, averaging 45.8 minutes a game, which is just insane.
Pretty much the whole game.
Yeah, basically the whole game. He is the first player to ever register a triple-double.
What a double, triple, what is that?
22 points, 25 rebounds, 21 assists.
Could you imagine, the only person I could see doing something like that is like Luka, and he doesn't even care, he's just like, I miss my horses. It's like, it's gotten to a point where I'm more numb to it at this stage.
A little bit. I know the triple doubles were made a fool out of by Russ, but just hearing that, then the weird part to me at least, and it's just getting too nerdy about it. Walt Bieniemy, who's a Hall of Fame center, was the one covering him that night. So he did that on a Hall of Famer. Yeah,
the Wilt Chamberlain stats are so crazy. A lot of people are like, he played against janitors and vacuum salesmen, and those people are right. Those numbers shouldn't count.
Oh my God.
I do have a great question of the day for you, and it is, what's the best job in professional sports?
Ooh.
Outside of being a player. Now I'm going to give you a few of mine.
Sure.
While you think of yours.
Okay.
One of them popped in my head while we were watching the game. World Series just ended tonight.
Yep.
A third base coach is a banger job. You just sit there, give some fake hand signs, you call it a day. That's a good job. Another good job, the Sean McVay holdback coach.
The holdback coach, dude, they make tens of thousands of dollars a year just being a holdback coach.
I can be a great holdback coach. Another job that I think would be awesome is the not just the ball boy, but the clipboard guys, the guys that are in charge of the NBA sidelines that have all the clipboards ready in hand. There's a guy that's there. He's a coach, and I know he's the defensive specialist, but really he just holds the whiteboard for timeouts, and he runs over and hands it to all the head coaches while they duel around and try to come up with plays. Those are my favorite jobs in sports.
I want to be one of the guys holding the Surface tablets on the sideline for the NFL.
Oh, next to the quarterback.
Next to the quarterback. You're just holding the tablet. The guy who manages all the tablets. Yeah. You just distribute, go collect. Distribute, go collect.
That's a great job. That's a great job in sports.
The worst person to be there is Belichick or Brady when they spike it, and then it's that's the worst part of your job. I'll deal with it.
Yeah, you're whatever, we'll just bill it to Microsoft. This is just a good ad for them.
Exactly.
I love it. All right, that's great, guys. Let's move into our next segment. It is a new segment. It's called Tell the Truth.
Yep.
We're going to talk about a few teams that we're just going to give our honest, raw opinions of. Mm-hmm. And the first team we're going to be talking about is a team that we're just unapologetically rooting for. A team that we just want to see the success of. Don, what's your team?
Mine's going to be the Atlanta Falcons. It just feels like the team hasn't recovered since 28-3. You want better things for them.
I've never seen a team get affected that same way. It was 8 years, not even 8 years ago, but 6, 7 years ago now, and they have not recovered. They try to change the uniform to break the curse. Nothing's happened. Got a new stadium and everything.
They have so much talent on that roster, both sides of the ball. Just
great defense.
Great defense, offensive weapons, bunch of young guys, and it's just the fact that nothing is working. I want to see them break through. I just want to see the talent be used properly.
Bad head coaching and a bunch of other things for what.
But it's not just Arthur Smith right now. It's been issues overall.
There's always issues.
Yeah, and that's the hard part about this team. Is it feels like there's always an issue.
I'm rooting for the Jets. I sit on the sideline and I'm watching these punt off games that they're having. And I'm just sitting there like, man, this team should be good. They have an immaculate defense. Their offensive line's like in tatters, but like Breece Hall's one of my most favorite players to watch play football, and Wilson's an electric receiver. They got other good weapons there, and I'm just sitting there and I'm like, why do I have to watch Zach Wilson play football? I want them to make the playoffs. I'm rooting for them to get in. I'm just sitting there like, come on, guys, you can do this. Figure it out. Just stay alive until Aaron Rodgers can come back from this Achilles injury that he's already almost done with.
Do you think he's actually going to come back? Like, no. Let me rephrase. Because I think he is going to try to make a comeback and get on the field. Do you think that when he makes that attempt, he'll actually be healthy?
Anything is possible with modern medicine. And lucky for us, he's not following modern medicine. So, I get if anyone can do it, it's Aaron Rodgers.
I'm so worried about his long-term health. Just with him,
can we play a game of Who Would You Rather?
Okay.
Would you rather have Aaron Rodgers off of an Achilles injury coming back off of 3 months of rehab?
Okay.
Or Ben Roethlisberger off of 2 years and no playing football?
No, I'll take Rodgers on one leg.
Okay.
Because isn't he being tried out by the Vikings?
So the rumor was they interviewed with him. Apparently, there's no validity to that, but man, that would have been awesome. That would have been awesome to see Big Ben come back and be like, "Check it out, Kenny. Look what I can do. This is how a real man throws the football."
It just checks down 5 yards every single.
They're just like, "Wow, Madison has 37 targets today."
I mean, he's what made Najee his name.
Yeah, Najee was
for those fantasy footballer guys out there.
For anything, man. I'm gonna go to a team that I want to fall off. I root for this team's downfall, and it's starting to happen. And I'm gonna go really quick with mine, and then I root for the Raiders' downfall.
Okay,
I love to watch their fans in turmoil.
Yeah,
I love to watch.
That's a West Coast kind of thing. Unless you're a fan, you like seeing the angst.
I like watching Raiders fans crumble down to their knees, and that. Luckily, I got to see some of that really recently. But we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, we'll get into the news there. For me, team I'm hoping to fall off, I'm saying the Eagles. It's nothing against the team personally. It's just it's hard watching them and seeing Hurts just make bad decisions with the football. Arguably, he leads the league in interceptions right now, and the team just winning despite it. It's just infuriating. Just how is this happening?
I think
and then
their head coach was their offensive coordinator was a really big loss to them, dude.
No, he was. And then Roseman's keeping the team together. I respect him as a GM, but you can't win every trade. And I don't know what kind of deal he made to just do that well.
I mean, he got Kevin Byard. He clearly won that trade. He does. The AJ Brown trade
move is clearly out.
Yeah, AJ Brown's on a tear that no one's seen before. It's insane.
Yeah, didn't he just beat Calvin Johnson's record of most consecutive games with 100 plus receiving
130
yards?
Or something like that. It's
my goodness.
Bananas what he's doing. I want to talk about a team that we think should just burn it down.
Yeah,
blow it up.
Go full rebuild.
I think the Cleveland Browns are time to just reset again. I don't
think they can right now.
I know they can't.
Yeah.
I think they need to figure it out. I think they need to figure out a way to void this Deshaun Watson contract.
He's not it. He is not it.
There's been rumors every week of Deshaun doesn't want to play football and there's issues, and I already see this ramping up to them being able to void his contract somehow and not having to pay him all that money. I think they have Myles Garrett, who's elite, but on that defense side of the ball, they have a couple cool linebackers. They have Ward, who's a good corner. The offensive line's getting older. Nick Chubb's coming off of huge injury next year. Amari Cooper's old. They just traded Donovan Peoples-Jones. David Njoku's on a contract year. This isn't
Elijah Moore still just floating around.
They
need somebody.
This isn't a team that is in a spot to win next year.
No,
their year was this year. If they could capitalize on what they had, they're clearly not able to do it. This is a team that needs to go and blow it all up. They tried to. They traded a couple pieces during the trade deadline. It's time to blow it up in Cleveland again. Sadly.
No, sad. Well, partially sadly.
You're a Ravens fan. You don't give it.
Well, I'm upset because I want more from Myles Garrett as a person.
Yeah,
I respect him I respect him as a player too much. But I'm happy seeing the fall of Deshaun Watson, and I don't think that's a controversial.
The fall of Deshaun Watson's a beautiful story. It's amazing. It's a ballad.
And it's the most Browns move that they gave him so much guaranteed money.
What's your blow-up team?
Blow up team. I don't know. I know the Giants. It's going to be the Giants.
Okay.
They partially blew it up a little bit, trading away some of the linemen.
Yeah,
some on the
Leonard
defense.
Williams. They're like slowly doing a soft rebuild, but
They just need a full rebuild. I don't know why you're keeping on to the major contracts. Saquon, you
never signed a running back, and I'm a guy who has Jonathan Taylor on his team.
Saquon has been performing well.
I don't care.
No, but where I'm upset with the Giants and why I think they should fully blow up is they played hardball with him on his contract.
Yeah.
They played hardball on a lot of contracts this offseason, going like, hey, we're a playoff-ready team. This is what we need. This is what we're going to do. And then proceeded to do nothing with it. Like, you are wasting these guys.
The goal is to do nothing with your players. That's how mediocre stays mediocre. That's how bad stays bad.
And that just feels like where they're stuck.
And
They need a full rebuild quickly.
The bad part that they have to have Daniel Jones on the roster for one more year, and then they can void him in, I think, 2025. It's Daniel Jones for at least one more year. The worst thing that's ever happened to this franchise is the fact that they made playoffs last year and they won a playoff game because they got to be completely delusional and tell themselves Dayball's an elite head coach. He might not be.
There was people in New York saying he fixed the team.
Saying that this is a new franchise. They've completely come back. They're not. They're just not
They're
back.
not it.
They signed the wrong players to a lot of money, and now they're just going to be sitting in a hole, their own little grave. And I'll be honest, this is another team I'm kind of rooting for their downfall.
Really?
Maybe it's because I'm rooting for the Jets, and they have like a little...
Yeah, with
I just watched them have a punt off in the snow this weekend. Let's move on to Bust of the Week. We're going to talk about the guys who busted hard this week, and I don't think anyone busted harder than Josh McDaniels.
I mean, it's hard to lose a game that bad and then lose your job in the same, basically 3-day span.
So, Raider fans, I woke up this morning, you would have thought they won the Super Bowl. The way that they were celebrating in these streets. The way that they were, running around being like, it's over. The Wicked Witch of the East or West is dead. Maybe. But if you're telling me that I have to believe in the Raiders ownership group, that they're going to hire another efficient head coach, you're out of your mind.
Matt Patricia still needs a job, right?
Yeah. And then now I'm watching Raiders Twitter and Raiders Instagram lie to themselves and be like, dude, we got a real Raider fan as the head coach. This is going to be awesome. He's from Compton. He grew up a Raider fan. Hey, Raider fans, listen to me. Last year, the Colts fired their head coach. And they brought in a die-hard Colts fan. His name is Jeff Saturday. Don, do you know how that experiment went?
Won one game.
Won one game. Won one game.
Yep, that's it.
That's all he did.
It was a great game, but you can't
It was a
have
fine
that
game.
define your coaching career.
Lock into me, Raiders. You're not making the playoffs. Next year's going to be tough, and you're probably going to miss on head coach. I'm just letting you understand that until Patrick Mahomes retires or leaves the AFC West, you guys are going to be a poverty franchise.
It feels like it a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know how this team did not make any big moves on the off. They GM gone, head coach gone. But how do you keep Josh Jacobs? How do you keep Crosby? How do you keep Devontae Adams?
Crosby has to stay. He's like a fan favorite.
He's
They
a
would
fan
have
favorite.
rioted.
But you have Devontae. He wants out.
Devontae should have been gone.
He should have been traded.
It's a $30 million cap hit on the team, but you got to find a team that can pay it. You got to find something.
I guarantee you, there's a playoff willing team that will offload most of that.
The
contract.
price is 2 first-round picks and the contract.
And
I don't know if there was a team that was willing to do that.
A team that's on the bubble right now, I think that would go after and trade him.
Who would be a team like that? What, the Chiefs? They're not going to trade to the Chiefs.
Wouldn't.
That's what I'm saying. All the teams that are willing to make that move,
Yeah.
they're just there's no logistical side. The only other team that I thought could make the move was the Baltimore Ravens.
No, Ravens wouldn't because we.
You don't have the money.
No, we don't have the cap space for it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to
It
think.
would have been awesome, though, having the Devontae Adams,
That would have been great. but
Lamar
I'm trying-
hookup would have been great.
I'm trying to just think of one of those teams that are on the bubble trying to make that push over the line.
Nothing.
And yeah, there's very few that have that kind of space.
I sat
now that
there
I'm
and I was just
thinking about it.
doing connect the dots on a bunch of teams. I bet you there's one that someone will tell us about later. Don, who's your bust of the week?
Bust of the week. I'm not off my Giants soapbox. Brian Daboll, what are you doing?
I love the fact that you picked Brian Daboll as your bust of the week.
Like, it's just okay. Jets, Giants. How do you 28 seconds left in the game? You have statistically a 99% chance of winning the game. Saquon has been an animal. We're gonna kick it on 4th and 1.
Tough.
Deep in Jets territory.
Tough.
Weird decision. The whole point of you being hired on and then taking over for Joe was you were supposed to be the gutsy guy. You were supposed to make the aggressive decision.
You were the chosen one.
He was. And instead, you do the cop-out move. And then after that, I get it. Like, Tyrod's injured. You're good. You don't trust your backup.
They had a third string quarterback.
I get that. But you didn't even try to throw the ball slightly down the field more than 5 yards?
It was a rain game.
Move. The fact that Zach Wilson was able to turn around in 2 plays and dissect your defense, that held him in check.
I
and
agree.
you decide, no, we're not going to keep doing the man with a 4-man pass rush that was working all game. We're going to play zone on a huge cushion and just let them carve you up in 28 seconds. 2 plays does not make sense.
But Don, Brian Daboll's a quarterback whisperer. He's the reason why Josh Allen was good. He turned Daniel Jones into a good quarterback. Why couldn't he do it with a third string quarterback, Don?
I don't get how people think that Daniel Jones is worth the money that he got paid.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that was the rumor that it was the phone misconnection.
Yeah,
where
the
he's
phone was messed up. Yeah.
The phone was messed up there. They misheard the contract. But that's just even funnier. And Josh Allen, he is good. On the road has been terrible his entire career.
Awful.
Just-
and awful on primetime. He's like one game, one win.
Yeah, he's rough to watch in prime time. Daboll's not a quarterback whisperer. He
Not
just
at all.
has a couple big names that he's coached.
Yeah. Let's move on to the gold star of the week. This is for our athlete or player or coach or anything. You get a little gold star. We'll ship it to you in the mail. It's awesome. You can put it on your locker. It's awesome. Don, who's your gold star?
Texas Rangers. After
World
watching
Series
the game, the
champions.
World Series champs. 60, I think it was 68 years that they've waited to win a World Series finally.
Good for them, man.
Just taking it 4-1. Just
There's one
congrats, guys.
69-year-old in Texas right now smiling hard.
Yeah.
All 6 of his teeth still in his mouth. Good for him. Texas Rangers. I mean, I'm a Dodger fan. Corey Seager. I have a real love-hate relationship with you.
How do you feel about Seager getting the MVP?
I've seen it before.
Yeah, it's the second one.
I've seen it before. And does it hurt? Yeah, sometimes. I don't like seeing my exes succeed. I'll say it. And unless it's Peyton Manning. I did cry when Peyton won that second Super Bowl. I was like, he deserves this. He really does.
Yeah,
but
he did.
That was after he lost to the Seahawks. And while that was happening, I was like, good. I was like, you should have stayed. It wasn't his decision, but,
Yeah, that was more the team in
Yeah.
his neck.
My gold star,
Yes.
little bit of a strange one. I picked Halloween costumes.
Okay.
I ranked my 3 favorite Halloween costumes of this NFL weekend.
Sure.
Halloween, everybody came out ready to play. Here are some of my favorite costumes. In third place, I have Aiden Hutchinson as Shark Boy. He came up. Taylor Lautner was
That was
at the
pretty
game,
good.
dabbed him up. It was I loved Shark Boy and Lava Girl. It was one of my favorite movies as a kid. I've rewatched it recently. Definitely holds up. George Lopez, banger in that movie, in that role.
Yeah. Yeah.
The next one, I'm going with the Jets defense. They showed up as the Akatsuki.
That was a great costume to come out with.
Super cool. They all had like the gear. They were all posing. I thought it was cool. And as a little anime nerd, me and Don, we had a little
Loved it.
smile. Also, that might have influenced why I'm rooting for the Jets. And then lastly, I'm going with Myles Garrett. If you know anything about Myles Garrett, you know that he's the king of Halloween. Whether it's putting graves of all the quarterbacks he sacked in his front lawn.
Which, classy move.
That
was fun.
This year, he put up bodies of the quarterbacks that he sacked.
Yeah.
And he went as Jeepers Creepers in full Halloween makeup.
Just 'cause
Myles
he could.
Garrett is awesome. He's what this league needs. He has personality with being fun and being himself. Myles Garrett, congratulations. You get the ultimate gold star of the weekend from me. Let's move on
Yes.
to Gambling Ring. 5-1-1 last week I was. I'm talking like Yoda. Look,
I was like, that was not correct, but okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's English, we can mess up that. It's only my first language. We're going to start with the Thursday night game.
Okay.
Titans versus Steelers.
Yes.
We have to make a bet here. What are you leaning? Let's talk about the game.
Yeah, let's talk about the game a little bit. I think it's going to be a defensive battle. I am not in believing in Will Levis's 4-touchdown game last week.
Over under 36.5.
Yes.
And you think it? Do you think that's the line exactly?
I think personally my bet for this game was going to be the under.
At 36.5?
36.5. Yeah, I can see this being like a 13-10 kind of gross game.
So Will Levis's 4 touchdowns mean nothing to you, Don?
Mean nothing to me when you're playing. Like Falcons have an okay defense. Like there's talent there, but they're not.
They're good
They're not
defense.
the Steelers.
So here's the thing: the Steelers aren't great against the run, though.
They're not great against the run, but Derrick Henry hasn't shown me much this season. He has not shown me.
He shows flashes.
He shows those flashes,
but he's a bum. He's been a bum for years. Derrick Henry sucks.
You know what? You let me get on my soapbox. I'll let you get on yours. No, you're good. But it's just I think there's just no passing game from the Titans in this game. Like this is going to be very minimalized in a large way, and just because Levis is going to be chased after this entire game, and I think it's going to be a turnover. It's going to be a game of attrition. It's going to be turnovers, and then on the flip side, you have the Steelers rank bottom 5 in first downs, touchdown,
awful
touchdown passes, bottom 5,
bad,
bottom 5 in yards per carry,
bad offense,
bottom 5 in rushing yards, and are last in the league in third down conversions for their offense.
But they're 5-3.
They're 5-3 because they win these defensive battles.
This is a game where they win.
I think this is a game where they win.
This is a game where they can win. This is a game where they're going to figure out, we're going to see a Warren play. It's going to be ugly offense.
It's going to be absolutely awful to watch.
I think we're getting a Kenny Pickett 2-touchdown game. Mm-hmm. I can feel it. I know we never get to see them. I'm feeling it. I can see him. One to Deontay, one to a rogue tight end. Maybe Darnell Washington, something like that. Maybe a defensive touchdown from T.J. Watt. What I'm betting is Steelers minus 2.5. I know it's a favorite. I know I'm following with the public.
I'm not mad at that pick, though.
I like it. I feel it. I'm running with it.
I just don't see the Titans' offense being able to put up much against the Steelers' D.
So we're both not Will Levis guys.
We're both not Will Levis until he proves it.
Yeah.
And in my mind, I know this is biased as heck, but after watching him eat a banana, he has a lot to prove.
Have you seen him drink coffee? He puts mayonnaise in it like a weirdo.
Was that a bit, or was that
No, it's not a bit. He's just a weirdo. Look, Will Levis, I like him, man. I root for your success. Not really, because I'm a Colts fan.
Russell Wilson's personality is not one to emulate.
That's spot on. Chiefs Dolphins. Chiefs are minus 1.5 point favorites against the Dolphins. It's in Kansas City.
Yep.
Patrick Mahomes off a flu game in a bad way. People always think about flu games as like that's where they step up.
They think it's going to turn into Jordan, and realistically,
that's because Jordan lied about his flu game, right? Jordan didn't have a flu. He had a stomach virus that he got from eating pizza the night before. That's a fact that happened in the documentary.
I think wasn't it the media that was saying it was flu?
Yeah, I mean he was sick.
Yeah, he was sick, but they just called it a flu game.
But like Patrick Mahomes was legit like sick
you could tell he did not look well.
No, he did not look good.
He pushed through,
which is why I'm going Chiefs minus 1.5. I know the Dolphins are flashy. I know that they're getting healthier, but like going into Arrowhead after
they're playing in Germany.
What?
This is
this is the Germany game. This throws everything off. Oh, go. Okay. I have to recalibrate everything. Go. Start talking.
This is a hard one. Personally, I'm taking the Dolphins plus 1.5. The line originally opened at 2.5. If you're able to get it there, more power to you. Tua leads the league in passing with 2,400 yards. Tyreek and Waddle have just been great. Both 100-yard games last week against the Patriots. It's hard to stop them. The Chiefs... Their defense is good, but I don't think that they're going to be able to open up. And then you have the revenge game narrative, like Hill playing against his old team in a neutral site. I'm leaning the Dolphins, and then the big pushover to me there is Jalen Ramsey's back this game, and that's a huge addition.
I mean, he got to pick.
He has one.
Everything in my bones is telling me to switch to the Dolphins. Everything. Everything. Why? I'm still going Chiefs. Chiefs minus 1.5. Let's run it.
It's hard to go against Reed.
I hate betting against Mahomes.
It's an awful feeling inside.
The thing is, Mahomes doesn't cover. He wins, but he doesn't cover. At 1.5, you can't do both.
No, you can win by 1. You can win a 20-19 gross game.
Don't put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby. I'm going with the Chiefs. And if they win by 1 point, I will wear anything Don allows me to wear. Like if Don, I'll let you pick out my outfit for the next episode.
Okay. Fair enough.
Let's move on to the next game. It is the Seahawks versus the Ravens. How nervous are you, buddy? This is a big game for you.
This is a huge game. I'm taking the Ravens. It's hard. I can't bet against my team here. And just Lamar is 19-4 in his career when he's favored by 5 or more points. Their opening line right now is at 5 or 5.5, depending on what.
5.5 right now.
Okay, 5.5. In those 19-4 wins, they're playing at home. In the games Lamar is favored by more than 5 when he's playing at home. 34 touchdowns to 13 interceptions. And he has only lost once. He is 17-1 against the NFC teams he's played in his career.
What a stat!
He mollywops some NFC.
I know he kills against the NFC.
Yeah, so
as he should. He's played against a weaker NFC most of his career.
But that's the Seahawks are not the same weaker NFC in my mind. Like they're.
I feel like we're bearing the lead here.
Well, I'm taking the Ravens -5. I'm not trying to bury.
What?
I'm
so.
Yes.
Your girlfriend's a diehard Seahawks fan.
I wouldn't say diehard.
She's a diehard Seahawks fan. She lives and dies for the team. You're a Ravens fan. You guys have put up a jersey bet on these past few games. Is there going to be a jersey bet this weekend?
Oh, there's going to be a jersey bet this weekend.
I like it. As you know, I have a Ravens and Seahawks future. This is my Super Bowl prediction. Is Ravens Seahawks as of right now?
And I still like it. I still like that.
5.5 is way too much for me. I'm taking Seahawks plus 5.5. I think this is a game they can win.
It is a game I wouldn't be surprised if the Ravens implode like we have at times.
Yeah.
But
I need to see something out of this running game from the Ravens. I need to see something more than just Gus Edwards getting goal line carries.
Yeah,
he shows me something, but I need Hill. I need this Keontae kid.
Move.
Yeah, I need something there. I thought they were gonna really try to make a move for like an explosive backup, someone like a Zach Moss to go after Ad and just go.
We were rumored to reach out about Ezekiel Elliott. Which isn't
okay, so that's the exact opposite of what I just said.
No, we were in the market trying to kick tires on some running backs. The big difference for this game, where it kind of sold me that like where I have that level of confidence in the Ravens, is they are only allowing 4.2 yards per play on the season.
Their defense is immaculate. I keep telling everyone this defense is not to be trifled with.
Lead the league with 31 sacks. And the Seahawks have their run game hasn't been explosive. They haven't leveled up to the idea of the two-headed monster that we saw with Charbonnet and Walker.
Charbonnet is getting healthier, and he showed me some plays last week.
He has a couple plays, but you have still a patchwork O-line. The run game's not explosive. I just think that Geno's going to be running a lot, and I trust our secondary to hold down deep.
Ken Walker is balling.
No, Walker's great. But we're not seeing the two-headed the change of pace being able to keep the ground game going. I think we're not seeing 150 yards on the ground consistently out of this team.
I think there's a lot of weapons on this team, and the one way to beat the Ravens is through the air. I think they can handle the Ravens there. There's a lot of great things that they can do. DK's back.
And healthy.
Jackson Smith and Jigba have back-to-back good games.
Yes.
I think this is a team that can win this game. Let's move on to the next game. It is the Cowboys versus Eagles. I hate the line on this game. I hate it. I hate it.
It's a gross line.
I looked at the line. I decided I'm not going to bet it as of right now. I'll put out the bet later on Sunday. I love the under. I know everything tells me Dio, bet the over. But when I feel too confident in over, I know ninja trick. Go into your brain, flip that, reverse it, Missy Elliott, under 46.5.
I'm taking the Eagles -3. I'm a big fan of this because the Eagles.
You were just rooting for the Eagles' downfall.
Yeah, but I'm still where I want to personally have a team versus where I'm putting my money are two different mindsets.
I agree
because I want I disagree. If I lose money on this game and the Eagles lose, then we have to put it with Dallas fans.
Yeah, it's kind of like what bullet would you rather have?
And I'd rather see the Eagles win this one. They're making all in push, getting Bayard off the Titans. Mm-hmm. That's a massive trade for them. You have AJ Brown doing just insane
crazy
things.
stuff. It's just I know that the Dallas defense has not shown up all the time. I think this last week they did. I think
last week.
they come back this week and they can put an Eagles team that has offensive struggles and put them in a place. I think Dak played an insane game last week. I think we're about to get the Dak Prescott that everyone sees every once in a while, where we get like a good game from him. I'm not saying they're going to win this game, because I do think the Eagles still win it.
Do you think it's going to be close?
I think it's close, and I think it's like an ugly game for most of the game.
It will.
And then in the fourth quarter, they just start scoring. I'm not saying I love this under. I'm just saying if it hits, it's going to hit by like 2 points. And the guys that bet the over are going to be sitting there like, dang it. Kind of like Monday night, where like the over was supposed to hit. It was 1 point away, and for 10 minutes straight, no one scored.
Yeah, that was a rough one.
Yeah.
For me, I'm pretty confident in the Eagles just because the Cowboys have geared their offense through Pollard, who has not been great between the tackles.
Yeah.
You have Rico taking
Dowdle, yeah.
Dowdle taking more and more of the share of the work.
Mm-hmm.
And the Eagles' defense have limited teams only 65 rushing yards per game on the season
They
so
have
far.
crazy defensive line.
This game's going to be all on Dak's arm, and I'm probably going to sell points. If I could get Eagles -5, -7, I would love it, just because.
Yeah, sell points. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to try to sell it just because in the last 8 matchups between these teams, the winning margin is 16.1 points on average.
Whoa.
So whether or not you like the Eagles or Cowboys,
5
history
points.
showing, hey, you can probably elevate this line
like
a good
that.
amount, and then you could cash in on both sides if you get plus odds both sides.
That's a good little bet. I like that. Going in, being like, I'll take you 3 and I'll raise you to 6.
yeah, because
give me the odds.
statistically they're doing well that way.
I like it. Let's move on to another game. It is the Bills versus Bengals. I really am excited. This is a playoff rematch. This is a game. 2 of the AFC's some would say 2 and 3 best quarterbacks in the league. How are you feeling about this game? Are you excited about this game?
Not at all. It's Josh Allen on the road,
So
and that makes me very concerned.
primetime unders are cashing crazy right now.
Yes,
They've
this
cashed
season
crazy.
has been great for it.
It's been crashing for a while now. I think this is one of the ones that hit the over. I'm not betting the over as of right now, but I do love the Bills. I love what the Bills are doing. I'm taking the Bills plus 1.5. This does feel like a classic like Josh Allen collapse game. I don't think it's going to happen. I think they're going to get the running game going. I think we're about to see a Stephon Diggs masterclass. I think we're going to get a legit shootout. Oh my gosh, that was one of the best games of the season game this weekend.
I'm hoping for one of the best. I'm hoping for the shootout. I'm thinking the Bengals edge out a little bit based on Josh Allen just errant throw at the end.
Yeah.
Allen is 1-3 on the road this season, has an 83.7 passer rating, 6 touchdowns to 6 interceptions. It's hard for me to trust him coming in on an away game like how he's been performing this year.
Joe Burrow's got a swagger back.
Joe Burrow looks healthy.
Joe Burrow's got.
That's the biggest thing is Burrow looks
Nasty,
healthier.
bro.
He's distributing the ball like you saw Tyler Boyd finally have a decent game last week. He just needs to get Higgins more involved in my mind, and the offense will just fly.
That's what I'm saying. Like, by the way, the Bengals defensive line is like the most slept on unit in the league.
They're
Sam
scary.
Hubbard, they're like smashing people in the face. They're really, really good.
Yes.
I still don't like Taylor as a head coach. I think he's a bum. Are you worried about the
limits
Bengals
the team.
slowly making a playoff push right now?
Oh, I think they're going to make wild card. I'm not. If Burrow,
Are you worried about them
still
possibly
carried-
winning the division?
No, I'm not there yet.
Uh-huh.
Like it is in the back of my mind that I see how close the records are. If the Ravens lose the Seahawks this week, then I'm starting to get really concerned.
Yeah. If the Ravens lose and the Bengals win, all of a sudden, little brother's looking real close in that mirror.
Yeah, that will give me concern. But right now, I'm confident in the Ravens. I'm not worried yet.
Last game of the week that we're going to cover for the big gambling ring, it is the Chargers versus the Jets. This is a team I've been rooting for. Another team that I'm slowly rooting for. I really want to pick the Jets here. I'm going Chargers -3.
I feel like this is a trap game.
All right, so Vegas
Yes.
thinks so too. All the sharp money's on the Jets right now and the under.
I understand why. This feels like a Brandon Staley's going to overthink himself.
I don't
and
care.
It's going to fall into a pit.
So where I go back to is I think Justin Herbert is now like in a full, I'm going to show the league what I can do.
I hope that's where he's at. I hope that's where he's at right now.
And I think Austin Eckler's healthy. Keenan Allen's there. Joshua Palmer's a little banged up. Quentin Johnson stepped up finally.
He's finally showing what he can do.
So I'm sitting here and I'm like, I get the Jets defense is good, but they're not unbeatable. No defense is unbeatable. Someone's got to crack eventually.
Yeah. And with how many weapons the Chargers could distribute to, this should be the team to do it.
The line for me is where I would bet the Jets is 5.
Okay.
That's where I'm at. Even 4.5, I'm like, I'm very comfortable picking 3. I'm very comfortable going Chargers 3.
I'm not comfortable with either team, just because on paper everything screams Chargers. I like the Chargers the most here. Like for my pick'em stuff, I'm generally picking Chargers. I'm taking the player prop. I'm going Gerald Everett over 3 receptions. It just feels like a good checkout.
Dirty bet, and I love every second of it. I love it.
He's hit it every game this season.
Yeah,
He's hit 3 or more receptions every game. If the line's at 3, you're not rolling the dice too much.
I love Gerald Everett in his jersey. The number 7 on the Chargers jersey just looks clean.
So clean.
So clean.
We are looking at 60% chance of rain in MetLife. 60% chance as of Wednesday night. We will see as the week goes on.
I'm already betting the under. I'm locked in on
I like the under a lot there.
Yeah.
For me, that just made me more confident in the Everett pick, because that means just any passes closer to the line of scrimmage. They're getting him involved in some weird trick plays.
All right, let's move into Rush the Field. It is a brand new segment. We're going to talk about a little bit of college football. We're going to give you 4 games we are going to talk about. A lot of great ranked games this weekend. Kansas, number 25, Kansas State versus Texas, number 7, Texas. Don, how you feeling about this game?
This game, okay, so the biggest headline we've seen all week, and both coaches have talked to this, is they keep claiming toughness. That's what's going to define this game, is toughness.
Kansas State's a tough team. They like to get in the dirt. They like to smash you in the face.
To me, that's not how Texas wins this game.
How do you... What?
Because Kansas's biggest weakness on their defense is their secondary.
Kansas State.
Kansas State's biggest... Yeah, thank you. Kansas State's biggest weakness is their secondary.
Yeah.
Texas has shown just once this season when they played Alabama, if they target the secondary, they have explosive playmakers to go do it.
But if this game turns into a shootout, they've also shown that they can't chase those shootout games.
They can't chase the shootout games, and you have a backup quarterback coming in for Texas.
Yeah.
And so that's where it feels... It feels trappy, because Texas is coming in as 4-point favorites.
4.5 right now.
4.5? Oh, yeah. So more people are betting Texas, but they have a backup quarterback, and they're facing a very tough Kansas State defense.
Public money is heavy, Texas. Okay. Heavy. I told myself last week, I'm going to start fading the public. I'm going with sharp lines, sharp lines. Made me a lot of money last weekend. I like Texas.
Really?
I like Texas a lot. Like, I like Texas so much. In our next segment, we might be talking about Texas.
I'm okay with that.
All right.
To me, I'm leaning like Kansas is just...
And I'll take those 4.5.
Yeah, and to me, I think this game is just going to be a lot closer than 4 points personally, but it's just because Kansas, top 20 in defense, 3rd in the country in red zone percentage for their defense, only allowing a touchdown on 1/3 of all possessions that get into there. Texas, on the other hand, are bottom half in the country in explosive plays over 20 yards, and are bottom 15 in red zone offense.
Yeah, they're not exactly the most explosive unit all the time.
All.
But they do play, they play good. They play sound football. It's just when they play these tougher teams, they seem to disappear sometimes.
They do a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think that with their backup quarterback, Malik Murphy, if he gets into the red zone, I just see the Texas stalling and kicking field goals quite often.
Let's move on to another game. Number 14, Missouri versus number 1, Georgia. Georgia goes in minus 14.5 point favorites right now.
Yes.
Georgia is trying to show they can go 3 championships back to back.
Yep.
I'm not selling. I'm not buying what Georgia is trying to sell me right now.
Okay.
I'm 100%.
Even with their big blowout against Florida last week.
I told you I believed in Georgia.
Yep.
I don't believe in Florida. I don't believe in Graham Mertz. I don't believe in what they're selling down there. Missouri is a team that's won me a lot of money this year. I've watched a lot of Missouri football. This is a trap line. They want me to bet Missouri. Vegas wants me to see these 14.5 and be like, Georgia's only covered 2 games this year, and be like, well, Missouri's a good team. I see the number.
The big thing is Georgia's, both of their covers have been on ranked teams.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or teams that were ranked at the time.
And they've handled both those ranked teams.
They have.
Handily.
Yeah, they step up when they need to.
Every time the public is like, all right, this is the time where we're going to get our money. And Vegas like sets you enough points where you're like, oh, it's time to grab the cheese. You get bit by that trap. Mm-hmm. This is a trap game. I can't wait to get hit by the trap. Give me Missouri plus 15.5.
Okay, I'm liking the Missouri line. The biggest team that's been able to keep up with the Bulldogs, I feel in a lot of ways, was Spencer Rattler in South Carolina with the Gamecocks, and that's because they targeted the deep ball. And Georgia is weak to it. Missouri is very strong with running a deep ball. I think that's going to keep them in the game. If this turns into a shootout, Missouri has an edge there.
I think Missouri is going to have an edge. I'm willing to say sneaky upset. I'm willing to sneaky upset this game.
I wouldn't be surprised. To me, it depends 100% on, well, if Missouri is able to get that deep ball running and if Georgia is able to get their ground game going. Right now, they're
be good.
The Tigers are allowing 4 yards per carry.
It's going to be so nasty.
If Georgia can get the ball on the ground.
I can already see my Saturday sitting on the couch and being like, why did I bet Missouri? Georgia's winning 52-10. I already see it, but I have to. I have to do it because I've been just giving this Missouri team so much attention.
Give them credit.
Here's another team and game that's going to eat me up inside. I already feel it. It's going to be the Washington, number 5, Washington versus number 24, USC. USC barely wins last week against Cal in a game where me and you both felt confident laying, what was it, 6? Or 11? No, it was 10?
It was 10.
And they won by 1 point?
Yeah, it was just the last-minute touchdown by Cal.
The defense is awful.
The defense is bad.
Playing one of the best offenses, which some people are now calling frauds. Still very good offense. Sure. I would never bet against one of my favorite teams.
Okay.
You'll never hear me make a bet against the Colts. You'll never hear me make a bet against the Lakers unless they're actively tanking. I'm not saying -3.5 Washington seems like an easy bet. I'm not saying that at all.
Don't worry. -3 Washington seems like a great bet.
But I do love the under at 76. I don't think these offenses are going to be. I don't think USC's offense is going to be as productive as. That's the most slander I will give USC.
Yeah, no. Caleb Williams is putting the entire team on his back week in, week out. He is doing everything he can. But if he stalls on 2-3 drives, which is normal, that's normal for an offense.
You're rooting for 5 punts.
And if
do you believe for five punts are going to happen in this game? If you do, if you think that's possible, then that under's secure.
Then the under's secure. And I think that is possible for USC. Right now, they're averaging 43.6 points given up in the last 3 games.
We might be going to this game on Saturday.
That'll be a great time to go.
I'm thinking about it right now. We might be going to this game on Saturday. Anything else from this game?
I just think it's hard for me to just go against Washington just based on their stats.
Michael Penix Jr. is a dog. I don't even like lefties, but like
he is.
USC +3. Number 4 game that we're going to talk about. The 4th game is 13 ranked LSU versus Alabama ranked 8th.
Yeah.
They want us to do this. They want us to say Alabama's dead.
No, Alabama. They disappear for quarters. They have all season. But when they are going, I think that they could go toe-to-toe with any country on their that offense could go toe-to-toe with any team in the country right now.
I still think Alabama can win a national title.
It wouldn't shock me. It would not shock me.
You want to both go -3?
I'm liking Alabama -3 right now. LSU's defense is just not there. Their pass rush is middling. They give up a lot of points.
A lot of points.
Yeah, it's rough to see. Alabama offense, you have Milroe averaging 11 yards per pass.
Yeah, he's not a great quarterback.
No, but he does the middle throws. He does that middle tier. He's not taking the deep ball. He's not a check down guy.
He gives you 10. He gives you 10.
And that's all you need.
Sometimes LSU's a very, very good team. I know they have 2 losses, but that's a team that could also run the table and end up in a playoff game. Like they're very, very good still. Jaden Daniels is a good quarterback to me.
Jaden Daniels is good, but when they went for the 500 yards last week, Daniels only put up 182 passing and 95 rushing. It was all on the ground game. It's those running backs that are carrying, and to me, it's do you trust Alabama D-line to shut down a running back? And it's hard for me to ever bet against Alabama's D-line.
I feel like a rich man goes poor betting against Alabama.
Yes.
And I'm going to bet with Alabama.
Saban figures it out.
Also, a 3-point game, I'm like, when does Bama ever lose by like that, you know?
It's not often.
That's what I'm saying.
Not often.
So, before we leave the college landscape,
okay,
I want to give us a playoff predictor. The first playoff bracket just dropped, so I feel like it's a proper time for us to reveal our top 4 playoff bracket. The 4 teams we think at the end of the season will be in the playoffs.
Okay.
I'm going to go first. My number 1 team, Ohio State.
I'm liking Ohio State there. They've played the toughest schedule so far.
So that's why I think they're
the most battle tested. And to me, they can lock in the number 1, but it's just nerve wracking with what the elephant in the room with college football is at the moment.
okay. Yeah, I mean we could talk about Michigan.
Yeah,
Jim Harbaugh has been cheating this whole time.
Allegedly, nothing has been proven yet. Where I'm holding out to see.
I don't have to hold out to see. They've been cheating. That's fine. Everyone cheats in college football, especially the guys who are at the top of the game. Yep. They have the money to cheat, so they cheat. I'm not advocating for cheating. No. I don't think it's fair at all when you can big brother the little franchises, but Ohio State's not a little franchise. No. Ohio State said we're going to get tough. We're going to build a defense. They have a insanely great defense. Yes. Their offense is sad. Their offense runs off of the best college wide receiver I've ever seen with my eyes, and Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to be a top 3 pick in the draft next year.
As he should. I
don't believe in this offense. I believe in this defense. I believe that this defense is going to do some damage against Michigan. But we're not talking about that right now. Right now, I'm giving you Ohio State as my number 1 team. They've had a great schedule.
Yep.
They're my number 1 team in the playoff right now.
No, I'm right there with you with Ohio State. We're in lockstep.
What about the number 2 team? Who do you got for
2? I'm taking Georgia just because I think that they have a possibility of winning their next few. They have Missouri, which like we talked about. I think that they have a good line there. Ole Miss, and then they play Tennessee. They lock up number 2 seed if they beat these 3 teams. I think there's no doubt in my mind.
I have Alabama at 2.
Okay.
I think Alabama's going to run the table. I think they meet Georgia in the SEC championship game, and I think they beat Georgia, getting them the opportunity to win and get that number 2 seed.
Yeah. To me, I think even if they lose to Alabama, if that's the deciding game, I think Georgia still edges out Alabama slightly just for how they're going to rank.
Losing Texas, and I think losing to Texas as their only loss is kind of a better win on a neutral site game. I mean, they're both neutral site games if that happens.
Yeah.
What's your number 3?
Number 3, I'm taking Washington. They've already beat number 6 Oregon. They still have to face USC. They have to go play Utah and then Oregon State.
That's why I don't believe in Washington.
Really? You don't think they'll run that?
Nope. I don't think they're going. Even if they do, I think they're going to meet Oregon in the Pac-12 championship again because they can do that.
Yes.
I think they're going to have to play in a neutral site game, and I think they're going to lose to Oregon.
I think if you split the games 1-1 with Oregon, you still have to put Washington in the top 4.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, because it's at that point, if you're 1-1 against the same team, like it's hard to pull them out of the top 4. I think they claim the 3 seed, and that's assuming I think Michigan.
No, I don't agree.
I think that's assuming Michigan gets bounced out of the top 4 for these allegations.
So my number 3, I don't think they even get bounced. I think Michigan's losing to Penn State next week. Oh. I think Michigan loses to Ohio State. That's a 2-loss Michigan team all of a sudden,
and they're gone,
and they're out. I have Georgia at number 3.
Okay.
If they do lose to Missouri and they lose to Alabama, they're out.
Yes.
So, but I do think they're probably going to beat Missouri. Hot take. And I think they're going to be the number 3 seed. We're going to see an Alabama-Georgia game where they battle it out to see which SEC team's going to be in the national championship game, which ESPN will love.
Yes, they'll be huge ratings.
Losing their mind. And then at number 4, I have Oregon. I think Oregon's the best team in the Pac-12. I think this is a good Pac-12, a good goodbye for the Pac-12. Why not let the team that did the best in the college football bracket ever for the Pac-12, get one more shot at it. I think this is a legit team. If anyone knows anything about me, they know I'm a Bo Nix guy. I love Bo Nix. I like what this team can be. They have an efficient team. I think they should have beaten Washington if their coach didn't go for 3/4 downs in their own territory or in red zone territory.
Rough. Yeah.
Give me Oregon.
Number 4, I'm thinking it goes to Texas, Alabama. I'm favoring Alabama, but to me, it's just this weekend
You
we'll
picked
decide.
2 teams as your number 4.
I think it's going to be Alabama, but whichever one of these teams loses first, the other one takes it.
So let's just say this: Alabama runs the table.
Alabama gets at least, at bare minimum, 4 seed.
Texas runs the table.
Alabama has them edged.
Texas beats Oklahoma, the one team that they lose to. Texas also beats Alabama. How can you put in Texas over Alabama? You can't.
No, you can't at that point. I think Alabama has the edge.
Yeah.
But I think if Alabama loses
How?
this week...
If it's down to Texas or Alabama, what's the edge? The only one loss that Alabama has at that point is to the Texas.
Is to Texas? No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they get in.
You think Texas gets in then?
No, I think Alabama does because it's just going to be the ratings. That's what these college guys like. And they're going to make up some excuse like,
But the Longhorns bring in bigger ratings than anyone. The Longhorns are college football.
The Longhorns are massive for college football. I just think if it comes down to the very end, I think teams are going to just favor Alabama for consistency.
They'll just box score it out.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that.
I would love to see Texas in the
I would love to. I would prefer to see Texas.
Cool.
I would 100% prefer to see Texas in that situation. Yeah. But I think it just comes down to these two. They are the proven teams.
Yeah.
They're the proven teams. I think that you have Michigan fall out. Florida's going to drop out, and I think it's just going to be these two rise above.
Let's move into the pick 6. We're going to give you our 6 favorite picks of this upcoming week. Something to gamble on, something to get into. Last week I went 4-2.
Yeah.
This week we're going to get a little spicy. We're going to get in there.
Okay.
I'm going with the Rams +3 against the Packers. I think the Packers are dead. I think the Rams, coming off a huge loss, they're a little embarrassed. They're going to come back, punch this Packers team in the face. Jordan Love is fighting for his life. I think they lose. Give me the plus money on the Rams.
I do like the Rams defense matching up here. They do very, very well. Stafford is still listed as day-to-day. We're just waiting to see his health.
He's playing.
He's most likely. I will not. Stafford is one of those guys to tough it out every single time.
What's your first bet?
My first is the Texas-Kansas State. I'm taking the under 51 with the red zone weakness of Texas. Kansas State being able to just stand tall. I think this is just going to be a low-scoring, lots of field goal game.
I like it. Let me go Colts over points 23.5 total. So they just have to score over 23.5.
Okay.
The Colts are the only team in the league to score more than 20 points every single game.
Yeah, they're 6-2 on the overs this season.
They're fantastic. If they had like a quarterback that was actually efficient, this would be an insane offense. I think they're missing
weapons there.
I think they're missing one elite weapon. I think Josh Downs is really good. I think Josh Downs is the type of player that will become our number 1 within the next year. Okay. I think Michael Pittman's going to be a really good number 2 for the years to come. I think we have a slew of fun tight ends, great running backs. I think we're just missing a quarterback. We have a creative play caller. This is a team that can score points. Give me the 23.5.
Sure. For me, I'm going back to the college the Washington USC game. I'm going over 76. USC is allowing 43.6 points a game on average. Washington's averaging 40.4. A 43-33 or even higher just seems like a decent score in my mind. It seems very achievable for these two teams.
It does sound achievable. It's just in my gut I had to go under.
No, this is a very high line for them to reach. This is my home run.
I will say, if we end up going to the game, I'm going to bet the over with you. So that's what I'll say.
That makes sense.
I'm going to also go into the college world with you. I'm going to take Notre Dame -3 versus Clemson. I think Dabo Swinney and this Clemson team are dead. They've got no life in them. Notre Dame still believes they can make a playoff run, and maybe they can. This is where it starts. -3. Give me Notre Dame.
I like it. Moving to the NFL, I'm taking the Patriots -3.5 against the Commanders.
That's so gross.
It's a gross line, and I know that we agreed not to bet New England.
We made a pact. What are we doing?
The Commanders are tanking. You have Sweat gone. You have Chase gone. I
think it's a rebrand. I don't think this is a tank. I think this is them being like, we have ownership. We're going to be changing this team around. These are 2 contracts that they're going to be offered hundreds of millions of dollars.
That's true.
We don't want to make that, bid into that money. Let's just cut our losses and say goodbye to both of them.
I mean, it could be that situation. I just trust Belichick's defense.
That's the other thing. I'm tired of telling myself that and losing money.
I don't like it as well, but it's just with the team in a very jeopardized situation, they have to almost rebuild that D-line now for the Commanders.
They got Payne, they got Jared Allen. They still have guys
Allen's
there.
pissed. Have you seen his
online?
I mean,
he lost his boys.
He wants out.
Yeah,
he was upset that he wasn't gone as well.
Yeah, it's
you have a disgruntled D-line that's just I just do not have
Ron
good
Rivera's
vibes.
lost locker room too.
He has.
Yeah, it's not great in the Commanders' lifestyle right now. But
all.
what's new? Let me go back to college. I'm going to UCLA versus Arizona. Arizona has life now. They have weird legs. I'm going to take the over at 51.5.
Okay.
These 2 offenses that have shown they want to score. 51.5 is a little bit too low for me. I kind of like it here. If it gets to like the 58 range, 59, 60, then I'm going to bet the under. 51.5, I'm loving it. I'm smashing it hard.
Yeah, that seems very easy for these 2 teams to hit. I'm taking the Saints minus 7.5 over the Bears.
You love this bet.
I love this bet because Fields is ruled out for a 3rd straight week.
You don't like Badgett?
Badgett.
Yeah,
Tyson Bagent. He was exposed last week. He's lacking arm strength. He's struggling to get the ball out to the sidelines. Saints D is going to tee off on him.
Would you rather Tyson Badgett edition?
Okay.
Would you rather have Taysom Hill or Tyson Badgett as your quarterback?
Taysom Hill.
Would you rather have Sam Darnold or Tyson Badgett as your quarterback?
That's a good one. I'm going to go Tyson.
Would you rather have Tyson Badgett than Sam Darnold?
I think Sam Darnold coming into the league, Sam Darnold.
Let me
Sam
ask
Darnold as his present stands,
right
seeing
now.
ghosts.
Sam Darnold right now.
Sam Darnold right now, I'm taking Tyson.
No. Tyson Badgett or Zach Wilson?
Zach Wilson.
Isn't that gross?
That's gross.
Isn't that nasty?
That's about the tier of guy we're talking about here.
And that was Would You Rather for this episode. I'm going to go to my game. It's the Giants plus 1.5 versus the Raiders. I'm not an Aiden O'Connell guy. I think in a few months we're going to be talking about Aiden O'Connell and Will Levis like we're talking about Desmond Ridder right now. We're just like, he's just a dude that can play okay. Yeah. And that's fine, I guess. But they're deep-rounded quarterbacks for a reason. They don't have the skill set, and sometimes those guys work out. I don't think these guys are going to work out. Give me the Giants. Daniel Jones is back. It's going to be an ugly game. I want it. I want it.
A very gross game. I think Max Crosby's just going to feast.
Yeah, Max Crosby might have 90 sacks. Might have 90 sacks this game. You could quote me on that.
Okay, I'll quote you on that.
At the end of the game,
Max Crosby, 90 sacks in your game.
Might have. You have to. In italicized the might. You know?
Got it.
Don, give me another bet.
Mine, I'm taking for the Thursday night, Kenny Pickett under 33.5 passing attempts. He's only crossed this line once in week 1 when they were playing the 49ers. That game got out of hand. He had to keep throwing. Otherwise, he's averaging 27.6 passing attempts. So it's a good deal less. He has the rib injury. Pittsburgh is 27th in pace of play. Tennessee is 30th.
Matt Canada is not listening.
Neither of these teams move the ball well.
Keep sending him my emails and he's not responding.
Then the Steelers, oddly enough, they throw the ball 53% of the time with the scores within 1.
That's so weird.
That is 9th lowest in the league. They are when the game's close, they want to run the ball. Tomlin does not trust the ball in Pickett's hands in these kind of critical situations. That's at least what it's telling me.
Do you still believe in Tomlin?
I believe in Tomlin's a great coach.
I think he's just one of the best coaches in the league.
I still have respect for the man. I just think it's a bad situation.
Steeler fans are 100% out on him. They're like completely done with what he's selling.
If you go,
it's been a long time.
If you go just about 500 for that many seasons, it's better to be a bad team and rebuild than to be stuck in mediocrity.
Steelers fans, you guys got to realize, being with Mike Tomlin's like being in a marriage, right? You've been together for a long time, and I understand that it feels like things are getting stale and repetitive. But
I don't know about being in a midlife crisis. This is a midlife crisis.
It's a marriage. It's them being like, maybe there's something better out there. Maybe that yoga instructor is someone that's gonna push me over the edge. It's not. There's not a better head coach out there.
Not right now.
This guy's. I understand. These TV dinners, these 9 and 8 seasons aren't pushing it. But you forgot what this guy did. He got you a ring. He got you 2 rings.
Yeah.
This guy can get you back to the promised land. Just give him time. Just let him build. Let this guy cook. Let him cook. He'll lead you to a happy marriage and a full life, a beautiful life.
Just wait. Matt Canada does not need to handcuff him for long.
Yeah, it's just forget about Matt Canada.
Hopefully not for long.
I got another bet. I'm taking the Bucks versus the Titans over at 40. This line just screamed bet the over. I think this is a Texans game and a Bucks game coming off a really bad scoring game, like both of their offenses.
Yes.
I think they come back, they figure it out. 40 is low enough for me to be like, hammer it.
Not mad at that.
You got one more, right?
I got one more, and it's Devontae Adams under 74.5 receiving yards.
You don't think they're going to super target him this week?
I want them to prove it.
Okay.
They have been talking about targeting this man for 3 weeks now, and they have yet to prove me wrong.
Liars.
Like, it's just, how do you have arguably one of
Liars.
the best receivers in football, and he has 1 catch last week?
Yeah, it's crazy.
And I think that going from Jimmy G to Aiden O'Connell is not going to fix that issue.
Not really an improvement. Let's move on to pray for the parlay. The last segment, we're going to give you a parlay we love. Me and Don sat and we crafted this one. We're actually insane how we got this odds. I don't understand it. It's a 4-team parlay, 4 legs. It starts with the Steelers money line on Thursday night.
Yes.
Lock it in.
We're both, I think, loving that pick. I think it's a gross game, but Steelers defense is hard to go against.
Give me the Saints money line.
Yeah, my favorite pick of the week.
Give me the Falcons money line.
Which Heineke's there. It's going to be an interesting offense. I think he's going to distribute the ball better than Ritter.
I don't know about that.
I think he's going to be able to distribute.
I think he's going to air it out more. I think Drake London fans are about to be a little bit more excited. He also loves the tight end, so maybe.
I was going to say Kyle Pitts is finally going to be great.
Well, that's not their tight end. It's Jonnu Smith. Jonnu Smith is the real tight end.
No, my bad. Kyle Pitts is just an oversized receiver.
It's just he's left tackle. They let him block now more than run routes.
I understand what they're doing.
And we're also going to go with the Rams money line. We believe I don't believe in the Packers. I think Don's finally given up on Jordan Love.
Yeah,
you bet this? It's plus 640.
Great
plus
odds.
640 on a 4-leg parlay. Throw 100 on it. Throw 50 on it. You'll make big profits. That's our pray for the parlay. Thank you guys so much for listening to another episode. Please check out our TikTok. Check out our Twitter. Yep. Me and Don are going to go put out our boards this week.
Yes.
So make sure you go check it out. And don't forget, pray for the parlay.